Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukkam Karane. O fold ones, seek the Lord Govinda, seek the Lord Govinda. When the death approaches you, the grammar or the materialistic pursuits will not come into your rescue. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, we are discussing the Bhaja Govindam or Moha Mudgara, the text which is composed by Adi Shankaracharya, one of the greatest philosophers who has the world witnessed. Now, around 7 slokas, 7 verses we did discuss. So after telling we should seek the Lord, we should seek the divine, we should seek the consciousness or the supreme self, then the author started giving, what do you say, rational or the reasons why should we seek the Lord, or why should we lead the spiritual life, God-centered life, conscious-centered life, in spite of materialistic pursuits-centered life. So quite a few reasons the author he gave. Now, author is giving one more reason. Why should we seek the Lord? And apart from that, we are all well living in the society, and we are all busy in the affairs, worldly affairs, and a lot of pursuits, and our relationships. So how should we see? What is the reality? What is the square fact of all of them, as beautifully explained or portrayed in the 8th verse? We shall try to understand. Kate kanta kaste putraha samsaroya mativa vichitraha kasyatvam kah kuta ayataha tatvam chintaya tadiha brataha. Who is your wife? Who is your son? Supremely interesting is this samsara, the cycle of birth and death. And of whom are you? From where have you come? Oh, brother, think of that. The truth is here. Now, when we read this sloka immediately or at the superficial level, we may think that, oh, the author is discouraging us to have the family. The author is discouraging us to have wife, children, uncle, auntie, father, mother, or any relationships or any relatives. So it is a bit pessimistic in nature. Or maybe the people who want to be a bachelor life, who want to be a monastic monk, for them this may be okay. This can appear superficially when you try to understand. Now, the author's intention is not to discourage people from marriage, from leading the family life, or having a wife or husband or progeny or any other relationships. Why? Because family plays an important role in every individual's life. All of us, we know that. And not only that, when the family system is intact, when the family values are intact, then the society will be healthy. And the children are taken care, they are tuned, they are tutored properly, and we can expect enlightened citizens to the larger extent. So family life is the core center of the society. So family life or family system cannot be neglected at all. And I think if you study sociology, there's a lot of discussions about this family system and family values. Then his author is going against all these things? No. Because family gives us love, loving each other, helping each other, serving each other, living together. All these things helps us. because we are all basically human beings and emotional beings. We need that love. We need emotional support. We need situation or people where we can exchange the love. We can exchange our feelings and emotions. So family is one of the wonderful atmosphere or a stage to have all these things. However, otherwise, what happens if you may have a rich, you may be having all the wealth, but if you don't have a family or if you don't have your dear ones to express your feelings, then you will be alone. And loneliness, depression, so many problems can creep in with such beings. So, and also if you have a family, then you have to adjust. So, ego-centered life, self-driven life can be checked to the larger extent. And when we live together, we share so many things and we learn many things. And we are pruned, we are shaped. Our angularities also will be shaped to the larger extent. These are all great significance of this family life. But the author's intention is Kate Kanta Kaste Putra. Who is the wife? Who is the son? Samsaroya Mativa Vichitra. Even this samsara, this family life is indeed very interesting. So what does this author is signifying, or what he is trying to tell here is, don't try to get attached. Oh, I spent a lot of time for my family, but the fragment of your life, you feel morose because your children are not talking with you, or your wife is not caring you, your husband is not caring you, or your relatives are not caring you, then you will land into depression or stress or sorrow. So family life, we need it. It is an important part of the society and individual life. Let us understand it, appreciate it, and apart from that, we shall also understand the square fact of the life. So we shall not be attached. We shall not be obsessed with these things. That is what the author's intention is. If you are obsessed with these things at the materialistic level, and if you are attached to people and relationships alone, then you may end up with sorrow. You may end up with problems. Recently, unfortunately, 3 days before, we heard an incident. A person who is of age of 42 or 43, he was good, he was healthy, and he was doing work and all. He had, I think, recently, he had developed diabetes and blood pressure. But both were in control. But unfortunately, 3 days before, in the night, in the sleep, he is no more, he passed away. Morning, wife got up. She prepared food because she had to go to work. She prepared, the daughter, and daughter was about to go to school. So she has to be dropped. So she started calling the husband. Husband didn't respond. She went to inside the room where the husband was sleeping. She called, no reply. She went and she shook the body. While shooking the body, when she touched the body was numb, body was cold. It was a rude shock for her. She collapsed. But after some time, she called nearby friend or relative. They came and they called ambulance. But the people said, sorry, he is no more. Few hours before, he has left his mortal coil. Now imagine so much pain and agony, sorrow. Probably it would have been in their family. Yeah, we all sent our condolences, and there was a help drive. As much as possible, many of our devotees, all of us, we tried to help her. So by supporting her, because only feeling is not enough. It should be followed by action. So we all contributed whatever is possible. So this is the square fact of life. So till yesterday, he was the husband or she was his wife. And once death approaches, then who is the husband? Who is the wife? Gone. And this present life, she is my wife. And in my previous life, we don't know who was my wife. And in my next life, who will be my wife? We do not know. All these relationships are interesting, are required, never mind, but don't get too much attached to that. don't get too much obsessed with that. Then how should I look into all these things? So all of them are necessary to lead a life, to go forward in my life. So all of them let me use, let me have a healthy relationship, let me have a healthy attitude, and let me try to develop some sort of detachment so that the sorrow or the grievances will be less or will be reduced, will be unburdened. And not only that, all of this family, relationships, earning, life, everything should be a stage for us to manifest the divinity more and more. Either seek the self, experience the self, or seek the God and experience the God. That should be our ultimate goal. Whatever job we may do, whatever relationships we may have, all of them should lead to that. Then the family and all these our efforts will have its value. That's what author is trying to tell. Otherwise, we get attachment and we get drowned in this vicious circle. We spend a lot of time and energy in these mundane affairs. And when you get higher values, when you get, when you want to lead the life which is, what do you say, guided by the higher values or the highest truth, you may be leading the same life externally. You'll be working for your family. You'll be working for your kith and kin and others. But what happens? Your thrust will be different. Externally, you may be leading the same life, you'll be working and all, but internally, you will develop a detached life. You will develop the proper attitude, a healthy attitude, so that you can lead the balanced life, peaceful life, blissful life. That is what the author is telling. So, author is introducing or injecting the discrimination or the inquiry. Inquiry about the life, inquiry about the square fact of life, inquiry about the relationships, or still better is inquiry about the transitoriness of the world, momentariness of the world. Now I am talking at right after a few moments, we don't know. We are sorry to inform you that Swami Shantivratananda is no more. Things can happen. So the moment when we understand clinging to the world, clinging to the object will be no more or will be reduced. Well, then should I leave the home? No need. Should I give the home to someone? No need. But don't get attached to that. Because, I mean, your bank accounts, house, all of them should be in your name only, never mind. But don't get attached. So try to lead the life of detachment. That is what the author is trying to tell. So make an inquiry, understand the nature of the objects, nature of the relationships, nature of this empirical universe, understand the transitoriness of all of them, do them as a moral exercise, mental exercise, and lead your life with a detachment. And if you attach, you try to attach to the God or to the self or to the consciousness. That is what the author is trying to tell. Why? Because before marriage, whoever today we are calling our wife, till yesterday, she was someone else. She was the daughter of her father. And today she is a wife. And tomorrow, if I pass away, then what happens? I don't know. And I will be born again in some other family. Then my parents will be different. Then when I enter to the marriage life, then my wife will be different. So they're all momentary. That is what the author is trying to tell. So you need not to be cynical, you need not to be negative, but be practical and be objective in all these things. Means understand the, what you say, transitoriness of that. Who is your son? In this life, he is my son. In my previous life, someone else would have been my son or daughter. In the next life, someone else may be my son or daughter because of the law of karma doctrine, because of the actions I have performed and because of the actions he or she, son or daughter, has performed. That's why he or she is my son and daughter. And even if you see from the biological point, who is that son? Son came from embryo, mother's embryo. It was like fetus, and that fetus was nothing but the food, and the food is nothing but the seed, and it is nothing but the soil. If you see, That's how we see in the Upanishads. Like Akashad Vayu, Vayu Ragni, Agni Rapa, Apa Prithvi. From the space, Akashad Vayu, air came. Vayu Ragni, from the air, fire came. From the fire, water came. From the water, earth came. Then Prithvyam Voshadayaha. From this earth, plants came. Basically, the source of food and energy. From there, semen came. From the food and energy, from the semen, people came. So finally, it goes to the space and all whatever. It is a philosophical angle. So don't get carried over by this body. Don't over carried over by this materialistical or the external or physical appearances alone. Seek the truth and try to lead the life of attachment. I mean, detachment, sorry. That's why Bhrata is addressing. So with a compassion, with a mercy, with a great concern, the author is addressing this. It is not that because he didn't have any other work, so he composed all these things. No. Out of compassion and concern, fellow feeling, brotherly feeling, he's saying, oh brata, oh my dear brother. Then Bhagini also is included, means my dear sister. Otherwise, oh, people may come, oh, it is all like, all your scriptures are like masculine, are only, I mean, they are addressed to only for male, not female. No. Brata is only symbolical. It also includes Bhagini, means either, oh dear, my dear brother, my dear sister, please contemplate on the square fact of the life, understand the transitoriness of the world, and do all your work, but be detached. This is what we see in all the great people's life. They do all their work, but they get detached. And if you see the Mahabharata, the greatest war which we have seen in the Indian history books, why did that Mahabharata war, Kurukshetra war happened? It was because of raga, attachment. Because of the Dhritarashtra's or Duryodhana's attachment brought the war. From raga, shoka, delusion. Mind was covered. Mind was unable to discriminate what is right and what is wrong, what is ethical and unethical. Even if they are able to understand, they were unable to practice, unable to put into practice because of the weakness of the mind. And Moha, from Moha, Shoka, sorrow came. They lost their property, they lost the empire, they lost their kith and kin. They have to finally die. Shoka, sorrow. Because of this raga attachment, I did so many things. And because of the attachment, I was unable to understand what is right and what is wrong. And afterwards, when the problems came or when there were blows in my life, then I was morose. I had collapsed. I was with full of sorrow. Why? Because I thought something else. There was a miscalculation because our mind was colored with attachment, colored with likes and dislikes, colored with, what do you say, uh, sense gratification, seeking pleasures, or whatever. As a result, we were unable to see things as it is. We were unable to see the fact. As a result, we ended with the sorrow. So don't lead the life of sorrow. Try to lead the life of detachment. By that, you can lead the better life. Many people feel if we are detached, we cannot lead the happiest life. Rather, it will be very morose life. Whether it will be very bland life. No, it is not so. The more and more you detach, you can lead the happiest life, blissful life, complete life, contented life, the life with fulfillment. Now, till now, author discussed about the problem of samsara, our relationships, our family, or the birth and death, and all these things. Now, he's going to, of course, indirectly, he gave a lot of solutions, and now he's giving a direct and very practical solution. How to end the misery, how to end the ignorance, how to remove all these wrong assumptions. It is very practical because, oh, you are the self, seek the self, you are not the body, you are not the mind. When we say, sometimes it becomes too difficult for a few people. Now, what is the practical approach? Or what is the practical means to seek to experience the self or to experience the God? The author is trying to tell what is the practical approach in the 9th verse. Let us try to understand. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan mukti. This is a very beautiful verse actually. Through the company of the good or holy people, there arises non-attachment, that is detachment. Through detachment, there arises freedom from delusion. And when there is a freedom from delusion, there is the immutable reality. And experiencing the immutable reality, there comes the state of liberated in life. Now, this one word called Jivan Mukti is very interesting and very unique concept, unique philosophy pertaining to Advaita Vedanta, non-dualistic philosophy. Well, in the Semitic religions, they say, okay, when I'm realized person, they say, when you go to heaven, and when you've done the ethical life and you have done good things in your life, then after your death, and someday the Lord will call you, which is called Judgment Day, and your good actions and past actions are weighed on the scale. If it is good actions are more, then you are sent to the heaven. If you are done wrong actions, evil actions more, then you are sent to hell. But the problem there is, it is eternal heaven and eternal hell. And that is one of the biggest problem today the Semitic religions have to face from the, from the people. Because eternal heaven is okay. Eternal hell means there is no opportunity for you to improve yourself. So theologians are getting a lot of problems from this. Many people ask in the present day, people, they don't simply believe everything. So they question. So that means if you say God is compassionate, all merciful, then if I've done mistake, then there is no way out. So it is it eternal hell. So all these things are there. Now, but the Advaita Vedanta is saying that it is not that after death you will be liberated, or after death you will go to heaven or the other worlds, you are liberated. No. While living in this empirical universe, in this mundane world, and living in this physical body, one can be liberated. One can have freedom. One can be free from the cycle of birth and death. One can experience the absolute bliss. That is called Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means what? I am free or I am liberated, realized person while living in this physical body. That is the beauty of it. Not after death, not after going to heaven. Well, there is also that Videha Mukti. That idea is there even in Hinduism, in the Vedanta, in our different systems. But the Advaita Vedantas gives the idea of Jivan Mukti. Means by living, you can be liberated. What a beautiful, what a assurance. So living in this physical body, in this mundane life, one can be liberated person. One can be free person. Now, what a, assurance, and definitely it can bring a big solace to the liberated, to the seekers of after liberation, seekers after the truth, and it gives a lot of positive impact for us. Oh, one can have the liberation or freedom while living in this life, which is the nature of the full bliss, total bliss. In Vedantic lectures, in Tattva Bodha, Aproksha Anubhuti, or in Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga, we have discussed all these things. Now, what is the way out? Seeking the company of the good people. It is very, very important. Now, the Satsangatve. Satsanga, Sangha means what? Attachment. Or a company. What type of company? What type of attachment? It is Sat. Here, Sat means what? There are many explanations can be given. One is Sat means is what? Existence. That is nothing but the self or the God. So have the company of the God. Seek the company of the God, or seek the company of the self. So I can be with myself. That's what we try to do in the solitude too. Solitude means it is not just being alone, rather seeking oneself. I can spend time with my friend. I can spend time with my relative. I can spend time with my children, or with the friends, or with the husband or wife. I can be with myself. That's what happens in meditation. I am trying to talk with myself. I am trying to seek my reality, my real nature. Or I am trying to seek the God. I can talk, I'm trying to talk with God. And I'm trying to feel the company of the God. And there is a Lord, and I am with Him. I am talking with Him. I am, bathing Him, or I am feeding Him. I am dressing Him with the new clothes. We can meditate, which is a path of devotion, isn't it? So that is what one satsanga. This can be highly difficult for people. Everyone is not possible. For everyone at all times also not possible. The other is satsanga means what? Holy company. The people who are advanced in the spiritual life are the people who have experienced the truth, the people who have experienced the ultimate reality. That is the consciousness, or I am the consciousness. I am not the body and the mind. Such type of people are holy people. That type of company is called holy company. Apart from that, there are good-natured people. So they try to be ethical, moral, and they try to lead the life of compassion and mercy, and they try to lead the life of higher values, not just mere sense gratification. They try to live at the level of thoughts or the spirit or the self. There are such good-natured people. Many are available, or many are there in and around us. So having association with such type of people is one of the important thing to progress in our spiritual life, according to the author. Why? Because if you know, there's a beautiful saying in the English: show me your friend, I will tell that who are you. So now, for example, if I have a good company, like I have a company with the good people, what happens? Then we'll be talking good things, and we'll be trying to discuss good things, and we mutually get interacted and impressed. And so good samskaras, good impressions, good tendencies are getting created in our mind, are getting accumulated. So that impressions will act as a propelling force or a fuel to do good actions. Maybe meditation, maybe doing some helping people, or going and doing some community services and whatnot. So when I do good actions, it creates a good results, which is called punya or luck. And that the sum and total of that impressions is what we call character. As our character, so our personality. But now if we have got a company of wicked people, then we say, oh, cheat, or do some tell lies and cheat people, or somehow or other try to enjoy the life in whatever means possible. That is okay. So knowingly or unknowingly, you also get influenced by such people's life and character or thoughts. Then knowingly or unknowingly, I may be also taking a bad route, path to fulfill my ends, and that creates impressions. And because of the wrong actions, that creates results also, which is called evil or papa, which is called bad luck or ill luck. And because of that, I will end up with sorrow. Again, all these things, if you see, the root problem is what? Because of the association of the company. So when you have got a good associations, when you have got a good company, holy company, that brings lot of positive impacts on us. Many times devotees say, Swamiji, when we come to ashrama, or when we listen to your discourses, not only me, or any good people's company discourses, we all feel happy. We all feel that, okay, we should try to lead God-centered life, conscious-centered life, spiritual life and all. But when we go back to the house, or when we go back to outside, then in no time or in slowly, these things gets evaporated, or these things takes a back step. Why? Because when we are thinking time and again with these holy thoughts and with these holy things, what happens? The ashrama or the place where we stay, and the people who have got this idea strongly, knowingly, unknowingly, they will be also, what do you say, uh, manifesting these thoughts, these ideas. And whoever comes into that realm, into that magnetic field, we also get affected. That's the reason when you go to temple, when you go to monasteries, when you go to the holy places, you will get easily, you can practice japa, meditation, or prayers easily. But if not, Other places it may be difficult. Why? Because that place or the people is associated with the holiness that affects us. So, because how much ever we read philosophy, how much ever we read scriptures, yes, that is also a type of holy company. But all times we can't follow it. We know what is right, we know what is not right, and but many times because of the deficiency or the weakness of the mind, we cannot follow that. When we have got a holy company, it helps us. It can provide inspiration for us. Because someone is doing a good life, someone is trying to lead a proper life, better life, or spiritual centered life, spiritual life. By seeing them, we also get inspired. We also try to put into practice. That is what very, very important. So just reading and understanding the philosophy is the first step. It is not only enough. We have to put into practice. While putting into practice, we may have to face a lot of problems, difficulties. But when we get holy companies, these problems can be taken care. That's why holy company will help a lot in our spiritual journey. And there's a beautiful, interesting story in Mahabharata. Duryodhana, who was the crown prince, he come from a big dynasty. He was a crown prince, and they had abundant wealth, and their clan or their family was known for their great peoples. A lot of great people were born in that family. So when Krishna came, the just war, there was a discussion about giving back the kingdom, part of kingdom to the Pandavas, their cousins. Then Krishna comes and as an ambassador, and then he says, "Oh, my dear Duryodhana, crown prince, you belong to such a clan or such a reputed family. The action, whatever you are doing, that doesn't befit you. So why don't you change your ways? Why don't you mend your ways? Why don't you understand these things and why don't you become better?" Duryodhana makes a beautiful statement, which is very, true. It can be the problem for even for many of us. He says, "Janami dharmam nachame pravrutti, janami adharmam or papam nachame nivrutti, kim karniyam Vasudeva." He, oh Vasudeva, oh Krishna, because even I had been to Gurukula, that is school. So I have studied Vedas, Upanishads, Vedangas, Dharma Shastras, etc. Scriptures, different scriptures. I know what is right. Janami dharmam, nachame pravrutti, but I am unable to put into practice. Janami papam adharmam. I know what is not right, what is unethical, what is sinful. I know, but nachame nivrutti. I am unable to give up. What can I do? What shall I do? So basically, he was helpless. You can say because of his tendencies, or because of the association, or because of the company he had. His uncle, his own uncle, unfortunately, and other brothers. Basically, he was wrongly driven. He was intelligent. He had a lot of power, muscular power. He knew many things. He, he had a good family, but still he was wrongly driven because of wrong association. So that's the reason good association and wrong association can bring a lot of difference in many of our lives. So that's the reason satsanga means holy company is very, very important. There's also interesting story in Bangalore when I joined a monastery. There we had a retreat, spiritual retreat. In the spiritual retreat, after a talk, there was a question and answer session. So one of the person, he had written a question in a chat and he had said, "Why do you perform or why do you conduct so many satsangs in the Ramakrishna ashrama?" Means in your monastery. So in Kannada language, sat means sat, we know. Satta means it is dead. So instead of writing sat, he had written satta. So it became satta sangha. Means sangha means we know company, satta means dead, company of dead. So why do you conduct a lot of dead companies, events? So when this question was read, everyone laughed. Then the senior monk who had a presence of mind, he nicely, he explored the opportunity, this, and he said, "Look, we run satsang, not satta sangha. Satsang is a holy company or holy gatherings. It is not the company of the dead people. But however, it is also true. Why? Because in generally in the retreats or in the satsangs, mostly it is taken care, it is addressed by the monks. And the monks, when we embrace our monasticism, or when we take our monastic vows, we do shraddha, we do death ceremony for ourselves. Because afterwards we don't have any progeny, we don't marry, and we don't have progeny, and no one can do the rites for us. As a result, we do the final rites. I mean, after the death, whatever the rites we are supposed to be done, I mean, they are supposed to do for us, and we do for ourselves. So from that point of view, from the scriptural point of view, we are dead people. So because monks are dead people, satta means the dead people. So that's why the company of the monks are known as Satta Sangha. That's why we conduct a lot of retreats or satsangs. Then everyone laughed and everyone appreciated the presence of the mind of that particular monk, senior monk at that given time. So satsanga means what? It is a holy company. So when you seek holy company, when you are associated with a holy company, holy thoughts, holy people, holy natured people, good natured people, then what happens? Satsangatvam, satsangatve, nisangatvam. Then your attachment to the sensory things, sense gratifications, or for lower desires, or for lower things reduces. The nisangatve, nirmohatvam. Because of the detachment, because of the reducing desires, because of the reducing body mindedness or mean mindedness or sensual mindedness, then what happens? Nirmohatvam. Your delusion will be removed. Your delusion is cancelled. Your delusion is negated or nullified. Nirmohatve nischala tattvam. Because when there is no delusion, that means what? Your mind is discolored. Earlier, your mind was colored with lust. Your mind is colored with anger. Your mind is colored with greediness. Your mind was colored with ostentation. Or your mind can be colored with a pride or prejudice. Either one or two or all of these things. But when, because of the holy company, more and more association, what happens? Then slowly your mind gets discolored. Then you will start see things as it is. Square fact of life, which we already discussed in the previous verse. And apart from that, you will try to experience the God. You'll be able to try to see the God everywhere. Or you'll be able to experience the consciousness. You'll be able to experience the consciousness everywhere. The whole world is so good with the consciousness. That's what Nischala Tattvam. So one who was established in that ultimate reality or immutable reality, Tat. Tat means what? It is the name of the Lord, name of the self, name of the highest reality. Then Nischala Tattvam. Nischala Tattve, Jivan Mukti. Once you experience the reality, ultimate reality, either you can guard God or self or consciousness, Jivan Mukti, then you attain the liberation or freedom. Now, according to the Vedanta, everyone is seeking freedom. Now, for an example, animals try to become better. Giraffe, how they got the long neck, they say, because there were, to eat leaves and fruits and flowers, they were raising their necks, and slowly, they got elongated necks. That is what one of the theory. So whatever we try to do, we get adopted externally. By getting adoption, what happens? We are getting free from the cold. We are getting free from the heart. We are getting freedom from the biological or the nature forces. And that's what science is doing. So by building a house, we got shade from the sun, we got shade from the rain, and we are protected from the cold to a certain extent. Then by the seating system, we are able to manipulate the temperature inside the house at least. So we are protected by the cold. So we are free from the cold now, actually. So similarly, going to different planets and going deep inside the sea, all these things, what? We are trying to master the external environment or atmosphere. And similarly, the more and more we go inside and more we curb our instincts, practice the life of discrimination and detachment, when you have a control over your mind and life, then what happens? You will get free person. You will be a free person. How much ever externally I grow, I may not be able to get the freedom from my mind, from my thoughts. Many times people say, "Oh, Swamiji, my mind is obsessed with the depression. My mind is, what do you have got a lot of problems." I know none of them are true, but still I'm helpless. I'm unable to sleep. My peace has become pieces. All these things, the, I mean, helplessness, I keep on hearing, and all of us we experience. Why? Because we are not free, we are bound. How much or we have got riches, we are celebrities, but we are not free people. Now, once you experience the reality, once you are well established in the reality, you are free person. Nothing can taint you, nothing can disturb you or perturb you. And this freedom has been sought by every being, every living being, either animal or bird or mammal or reptile or human being, either knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, either in the straight way or in the crooked way, or in the in the, what do you say, directly and indirectly. So the Vedanta is giving you the direct path to seek the freedom. Seeking the freedom means what? We are already free actually, but only because of ignorance, we are thinking we are bound. Only all our, struggles is what? To remove the misconception, to remove the prejudice, to remove the wrong understanding. By removing what happens, then I will be free. I was free, I am free, I will be free. But only thing, because of the wrong idea, wrong notion, I am thinking I am bound. So, in strictly speaking, the freedom or the spirituality or the spiritual practice from the Vedanta point of view, from the Vedanta point of view, is negative in nature. It is only removing the dirt. It is only removing the ignorance, nothing else. Anyhow, that's the philosophical discussion. So, Jivan Mukti means one can attain the freedom, one can be liberated while living in this mundane world or in this empirical life or in this physical body. So, how to go to that? That is a good congregation, having a good congregation, having a good company, good people company, and also having a company of good thoughts. There can come good thoughts, can come bad thoughts, can cross over our mind. When bad thoughts come, we should discourage it. We should try to not suppress, but rather we should divert ourselves. We should not get attached. We should not get carried over by that. Instead of that, encourage our mind with the good actions, good thoughts, good feelings. Then slowly our mind as a container can be filled with noble thoughts. That's what Bhadram Karane Vishnuyama Deva. Oh Lord, please bless us. Let us see good things. Let us hear good things. Bhadram Pashe Makshabirya Jatraha. Let us see good things. Be good, do good, see good. This is the whole of religion, as Swami Vivekananda says. Be good. I have to perform good actions. Do good. Uh, do good. Do good actions and try to be good and see good. Seeing good is first important. Then doing good is second action. Then we will become good actually. Our being will be good, not the bad. This is the whole of our life actually. So for that, holy association is very, very important. Either with the holy people, good natured people, or in our own mind, we should encourage more and more with the good thoughts, higher thoughts, constructive thoughts, positive thoughts, and seeking the self and seeking the God. Mm, Having that, one can leave the realization. Afterwards, the author gives one more example how why we should have a detachment. Live in the life, live in the world, do all your duties, but if you have a detached life, you can be happiest person, peaceful person. What it is, how to do that, we shall try to see in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Pranam.